it's been undercut. It's no longer technically really a public space. So public space is maintained by public agencies in the public interest and accessible to the public. It has to be like that in order to qualify as a public space. And access to public space is subject to exclusionary processes. Public space is guarded from intrusion by private interests. This is often usually the case, which is reversed in Hong Kong. In a lot of places, the management of public space was to protect the public. Okay, to protect the public so that private interests do not territorialize, do not colonize public space. All privatization of public space would be arrested, right? Would be prevented, would be charged for privatizing public space. But in Hong Kong, it's reversed. In most cities in the world, access to public space is subject to processes that guards them from the intrusion of private interests. A process which is regarded as essential for the health of a city. So in Hong Kong, we're doing almost exactly the opposite. So public space is important for the health of the society because it is essential in supporting a public realm, a civil society. Without public space, you don't have a civil society. You don't have a community. You don't have a neighborhood. You don't have social integration. You don't have a society. And Edward Soldier, a famous postmodern geographer, also gives us another interesting definition of public space as a third space. Third space in what sense? He says daily life must find its balance in three realms of experience: domestic, work, and social. And public space is the social space, beyond the domestic and the work space. Third space signifies a great variety of public places that host the regular, voluntary, informal, and happily anticipated gatherings of individuals beyond the home and work. So public space is a space, a place that you expect to have things you want to do happening there. Things that are informal, relaxed, and happily anticipated gatherings of human beings. And I can't remind you more than this, right? I've gone through it very, very quickly once. I want to go back to this, the core qualities of public space as third space. It's being a neutral ground where individuals can come and go as they please. Neutral. So nobody feels that this space excludes them. Nobody's privileged. Nobody's denied. It's neutral. And people feel very free. They can come and go as they please. It is highly inclusive, accessible, and you don't need formal membership to come and go. They are so low profile and so taken for granted by most people, you don't actually think about it. If you have a city that is very good at managing public space, you feel so entitled, so natural, that it's part of your life, you don't actually even feel it. It's taken for granted. It's being open during and outside office hours all the time. You can be there anytime you want. When we were younger, maybe we were too young to even feel that. I used to be able to play on the street anywhere near home, and I would never think people would kick me out of anywhere. I don't even have the concept of exclusion. I can climb and can go anywhere I want near the neighborhood. And even if I intrude into other people's homes, they know me and I know them. And it's not considered an intrusion. So, it's a community, it's a dead-end street where I live. Some older people, they might be quite lonely at home, but they're never lonely in the neighborhood because sometimes they don't close their door doors, and they do interesting things to attract the children in the district to go in. So actually, it's a very different sense of community. And even in public housing, it was like that in the older form of public housing. Not everybody closes their doors. And therefore, the division of private and public space is very unclear. Right? A lot of things happen in the corridors or in some of these open areas between homes. And you can be there any time of the day. You feel very safe any time of the day. And it's also being characterized by a playful mood. Right? This is something very important about public space. You don't feel disciplining. Right? You don't feel you have to follow a lot of disciplines. You don't feel like in a prison or in a school. You feel very relaxed, playful, and carefree. And they provide, therefore, psychological comfort and support. Right? It's a place you go to be happy, to be comfortable, to feel connected and supported. And conversation, human interaction, having games and other activities together, having sustaining activity together, like people playing chess there all day long, it provides political fora of great importance, cultural, political, and social importance.